wanting to make sure that with Team USA, wanting to make sure Kawhi is included on that list, or wanting to make sure PG is included to that list. And to them, going back to the NBA where we're at now, want to talk about the Clippers and what's going on with them at the moment. Those two are still playing at a good level. PG was out for a moment, dealing with the injury, has returned and is getting back into form. But as that happens, Russell Westbrook goes down and fractures his hand. And Alec, is you being the big fan of Russ and seeing what's going on with them. Do you have any first thoughts to his injury?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough blow to have him out indefinitely. I don't think they have a timetable yet for his return, but he was has been a pretty consistent part of their bench rotation since he's made the move to the bench. Plays limited minutes, like kind of tops out around 20, 25 minutes, but in those minutes, he's been pretty efficient since coming off the bench. And it's kind of like the heartbeat of this team at times, just with how hard he's always playing when he's out there. And he does the little things. Like he's not the 30-point scorer anymore, but he has been playing at a really high level defensively. And of course, the rebounding is still there, the playmaking is still there. So they're definitely going to miss that a bit coming off the bench. I think they will be. They're a deep squad, so I think they will be fine. Just between having Harden, PG, Kawhi, and having a fairly deep rotation. We talked about Bones Highland being upset about his role. Like
minutes, there you go.
Probably gets an uptick in minutes here. So I think they'll be all right without him, but it is a tough blow for Russ individually, and I think it's a blow for the team as well too.
Yeah, Noel, you echo that as well?
Yeah, I think it's definitely tough timing right around this time, because that's the big thing with the Clippers we've seen over the past couple of years. They've had the rosters, they've had the depth to kind of make a deep playoff run, but it shows like one of or both of Kawhi and PG can't stay healthy. And even though the roster is as talented as ever, you need both of your top guys to be ready and be available when the time comes around. And I mean, the Clippers, they were the 1 seed for about 1 day, and then we all know how tough that top of the West is. So now they're sitting in 4th place behind the Nuggets, behind the Thunder, behind the Timberwolves. But I think when everybody's healthy, and we've been able to see what James Harden has done to that offense. So I wasn't a big fan of that trade off the jump, but moving Westbrook to the bench has really done a lot of good things for the team. Like you said, he's been the heart and soul of their squad. He's having one of the best defensive seasons of his career so far. He's taken on the role to match up with some of the best guards and not have to worry about having to do so much on offense. And even when he does get the ball on offense, seems like his decision-making is a lot better. Just watching him play the Lakers the other day, he was getting out in transition. He was having a good time getting to the mid-range, finding his guys. So hopefully, I don't know if we have any specific details on the injury just yet as far as the timetable or official testing, official x-rays. But I mean, hopefully he doesn't have to miss too much time, because this stretch of the season is as important as ever, as you're trying to gear up and get as high of a seed as possible to avoid, facing a really, really good team in that first round. I know I've been saying this to a lot of people that this is the year the Clippers should be trying to go all in and win a title. If you win a title right before you move into a new arena and you have 3-4 stars on your roster, that's a money maker for your franchise. That's how you get everybody paid at the end of the day. But hey, shout out Bones Highland. I hope that he is able to get more minutes and produce a lot better than he did in this first game. But he's been on the bench for a while, so he needs to warm up a little bit first.
Yeah, shake off the rust a bit.
Yeah.
You both have kind of answered it with how you've been talking, but just asking directly, do the Clippers need a fully healthy roster to remain contenders, or can they win still having guys like Bones Highland step up? I know I'll go back to you.
Yeah, I think could be a blessing in disguise for the team. I think Bones Highland, PJ Tucker, those two guys who have been voicing saying that they want more minutes. Bones hasn't really done that, but PJ has been more vocal than anybody else in the league at this point, saying that he needs some minutes. So I mean, hopefully they can just move the ball around a little bit more, get guys involved. I know even though PG and Kawhi are having really, really good seasons, their numbers have been down because they don't have to do as much. I know that Paul George, he's holding onto the ball less than he has in his career. He's scoring a lot off of assists more than he has since his rookie year with the Indiana Pacers. So it just goes to show that these guys don't have to do as much ISO ball. When James Harden is orchestrating the offense, he's at a point in his career where he's not worried about 30 balls, about getting triple doubles anymore. I think all these guys, they want to come together, live where they grew up, win a title. So yeah, I think Russ just needs to get healthy, and hopefully this is a blessing in disguise for this team. Even though I'm a Laker fan, I love all basketball. So I want everybody to be healthy. I want to see competitive games. So if the Clippers can keep it up with Russ out, and maybe him just giving guys some guidance, like he sees a lot from the baseline. He sees a lot from sitting on the bench. So hopefully he can kind of take on this coaching role while he's hurt.
For sure.
Same for you, Alec.
Yeah, I think Noel makes a lot of great points. I think they can weather the storm. Like while Russ is out, hopefully you don't get injuries to too many more guys because that's when it
Right.
gets rough. But I think with guys like Bones and PJ being able to step into some more minutes, Terrence Mann has been improving in his play in a recent stretch of 5 or so games too, which is going to be huge now with Russ being down too. So yeah, I think with how well Harden has been playing and facilitating for this offense, as Noel mentioned, like takes the offensive creation load off of Kawhi and PG to not have to do it all by themselves and play ISO ball to get tough buckets. He's definitely made it easier on them. So I think they still can remain a really dangerous team during this regular season. But obviously, come playoff time, you want to have everybody at full strength.
Yeah, well, with this injury, fractured hand, they haven't set up an official timeline. So he's out indefinitely, but with stuff like that, usually it's at least a month.
Right.
But we're in that sweet spot where you might have a month to sit down and be able to get back for the playoffs still. So hopefully Russ can get back and be at least somewhat healthy in time to contribute for this run. I put at the bottom, if Clippers search continues, any chance that this team ends up falling short yet again this year? Or you think that they can, they still will make a big push? I'll go back to you.
Yeah, I've got like a surprising amount of faith in this Clippers team. I love the trade before it even happened. We were discussing the potential of the Harden trade. I love the idea of it, solely for the fact that like this team has struggled to stay healthy. One of their stars tends to go down come playoff time, and when that happens, it's really hard for them to overcome in the playoffs. And I think having the luxury of having James Harden be your third best player to where like he doesn't need to be the second best guy scoring 30 for you in the playoffs. Like he can relax into that playmaking role and be the facilitator and be the third option scoring wise. I think that's huge for this team. So really for me, the only concern is that if Kawhi is the one that for some reason goes down, then I see their ceiling kind of capped because I think you need Kawhi to be healthy in order to make a title run. Like he's the one guy that we've seen be able to do it on multiple other teams, and probably the one guy that you trust because you have seen PG falter in playoff moments. We have seen Harden falter in several playoff moments. So the one guy you trust with the utmost is Kawhi. So that would be my only concern is Kawhi's health. Yeah.
Noel, I heard you kind of already answered the question before. I guess what I'll ask now is just in regards to my mind's going a million places actually. Before I even jump into other place, my bad. What I'll do instead is instead of jumping ahead still and looking to what's going on with them, we won't fully stamp regarding the Clippers curse and how that will go. As Alec already said, I will hope for the best still, and we see that this team is playing well. What I'll go to you and asking is looking at right now and their upcoming games as we deal with the Lakers. Their week in review. We have the next couple of games. They have the Timberwolves tonight. By the time you guys view this episode on Sunday, the Bucks on Monday, the Rockets on Wednesday, and then we'll probably be back by the time they put the Bulls on Saturday. But well, by this time next week, how the Clippers be looking?
Let's see. So I'll give them a good 2-2. I'll give them like a 500 for these next 4-game stretch, just because I do think that they'll struggle against like the Timberwolves and the Bucks without having Russ to throw on defensively. And even if you have like a Bones out there, you're giving them like 15 to 20 minutes. Dame and Ant are going to take full advantage of getting him into pick and rolls. And and like the Bucks, they're still trying to get their groove on. There's been a lot of talk about Dame saying that he hopes that the Bucks were going to be a lot better at this time than they really are now. And the Rockets, they're a sneaky good team in the West. They have good young guys paired with some really good vets. And then Chicago, it's Kobe White's world right now. We're all just living it, you know?
For sure.
I give them a 2-2.
2-2 sounds right to me. That 2-2 might not even go as you think. It might be spread out a different way. They might still get a game against the Bucks or the Wolves, as even though they may be hobbled with Russ out, they still could put up a good fight, and maybe that it's changed in another way. But we'll see about that. Jokingly, any worry about Harden going back to Houston next week?
No.
Oh man. They got to keep that dude locked up in his hotel room.
All right, Alec, any thoughts on the Clippers' next matchups?
Yeah, a couple tough games there to start. The T-Wolves, when they beat the Clippers in their last matchup, kind of like cemented themselves to me as like, okay, like this team is for real. They went into LA and beat them pretty handedly on their floor, and I think this T-Wolves team has really figured something out there. They just got to prove it in the playoffs, obviously, as we discussed. But I think that's a rough game on the road. That's a rough game in Milwaukee on the road too. Despite their Doc Rivers troubles, I think they've kind of flipped things around a little bit post All-Star break. But I like the 2-2 pick from Noel. I could maybe see 3-1. Like maybe they can get the Bucks. But I'll stick with 2-2. Like Noel said, yeah.
Got it. Well, yeah, we'll be tuning into it all. Excited for how this next week plays out. Hoping for the best with them, of course, and wishing fast recovery to Russell Westbrook there. Looking forward to seeing him back on the court. So fun stuff in that regard. Appreciate the opportunity to this part. As always, make sure you subscribe to LA Sports Report and excited to continue bringing great talks to you. So that was all the serious stuff.